The security footage from Santa Barbara Municipal Airport is grainy, but the timestamp is unmistakable. 3:14 a.m. A black SUV screeches to a halt in a restricted zone, the tires screaming against the asphalt. The driver never gets out. Instead, the passenger door flies open and a figure stumbles onto the tarmac. It's Prince Harry, but not the polished duke we see on magazine covers. He is the image of trembling panic, wearing a wrinkled gray t-shirt and sweatpants, one sneaker untied and dragging behind him. No suitcase, no security detail. He is clutching a single dark blue booklet in his shaking hand, his British passport. Witnesses described a scene of pure desperation. One tarmac employee, speaking on condition of anonymity, said he didn't look like a royal. He looked like a refugee. He ran toward a fueling Cessna, banging on the hull and shouting for the pilot to just go. For 4 years, the world thought Harry was escaping the palace, but tonight, the narrative has flipped with a violent jolt. He isn't fleeing the UK. He is escaping the mansion in Montecito. As the plane vanishes into the night, the Montecito estate is reportedly in total lockdown. Lights are blazing in every room, guards are patrolling the perimeter, but the master bedroom is empty. The reason for his frantic flight? A source close to the Sussex camp leaked a text message sent by Meghan to her mother just minutes after Harry's car peeled out of the driveway. It doesn't express worry for his safety, it expresses terror for her secrets. It reads, "He broke into the safe. He has the blue drive. Mom, it's over." To understand why a prince would flee into the night with nothing but the clothes on his back, we have to go back 3 hours before the wheels left the tarmac. The children were asleep. Meghan was reportedly in the guest wing, editing the final cut of a new project. But Harry wasn't sleeping. He was searching. Harry wasn't asleep. He was searching. According to household insiders, the prince had been planning a solo trip to the UK to visit King Charles following his cancer diagnosis. But there was a logistical problem. He couldn't find his passport. For years, it had been whispered that Meghan kept the family's vital documents in the vault, a hidden safe in the master closet protected by a biometric scan. But tonight, by fate or a fatal glitch, the safe was left slightly ajar. Harry walked into the closet, expecting to grab his documents and leave a quiet note. He found his passport, but tucked beneath it was something that didn't belong in a family safe. A metallic blue hard drive. A strip of masking tape across the front featured handwriting Harry recognized instantly. It belonged to Marcus Anderson, Meghan's closest ally. The label read, Soho Archive 2015-2018. Do not delete. Curiosity turned to confusion, and confusion quickly bled into horror. Harry retreated to his study, locked the door, and plugged the drive into his laptop. What flashed onto the screen wasn't a family photo album. It was a cold, corporate database. Folder A, the Istanbul account. Folder B, the yacht receipts. And then Folder C, Target Acquisition H. The video that opened was timestamped June 2016, 1 month before their first date. It showed Meghan sitting in a Soho House boardroom, but she wasn't the blushing humanitarian the world knows. She was clinical. Cold. She held a whiteboard marker, circling a photo of Harry pinned to the board. "He's the mark," she says in the clip, her voice devoid of emotion. "He's desperate for a mother figure. We need to play up the Diana angle. If we hook him, the brand value is infinite." Harry didn't scream. He didn't cry. He threw up. The realization hit him with the force of a physical blow. The romance, the courtship, the us against the world, it was all a long con. A masterfully orchestrated heist where the stolen goods were his very life. He threw up. The realization hit him with the bone-crushing force of a physical blow. The romance, the courtship, the us against the world, it was all a long con. A masterfully orchestrated heist where the stolen goods were his very life. He ejected the drive, shoved it into his pocket, and ran. He knew instinctively, if she realized he had seen Folder C, he wouldn't be allowed to leave that house alive. Now, high above the Atlantic in the pressurized cabin of the Cessna, Harry was no longer looking at the audition tapes. He had opened a folder that made his blood run cold, the Sandringham tapes. The file names were a roadmap of royal betrayal, Queen Private Summit 2020, William Kitchen Argument, Charles Financial Plea. Harry plugged in his headphones and clicked the file labeled with the Queen's name. Through the crackle of a hidden microphone, he heard the soft, disappointed voice of his late grandmother. "I cannot give you half in, half out, Harry," she said. "It is dangerous." Then he heard his own voice shouting, and in the background, the unmistakable rustle of fabric. The microphone wasn't on him, it was on Meghan. A sick, jolting sensation washed over him. She had been wearing a wire during the most painful, private moment of his life. She hadn't just recorded his family, she had archived them for leverage. But the horror went deeper. Under a subdirectory labeled Medical and Logistics, Harry found emails to a specialized prop studio in Los Angeles, the kind used for high-budget sci-fi films. The subject lines were chillingly clinical. Month 4. Silicone weight adjustment, texture match. Delivery date, prosthetic set B. Harry clicked an image file. It was a side-by-side comparison, a moon bump prosthetic belly next to a photo of Meghan from an engagement in Birkenhead. The match was identical. The crease in the coat, the way the fabric draped, it wasn't biology. It was engineering. The match was identical. The crease in the coat, the way the fabric draped, it was all engineered. Harry sat back in the leather seat, his hands trembling in the dim light of the cabin. He realized the secrecy surrounding the births was never about privacy. It was about hiding a production schedule that didn't match biological reality. Back in Montecito, the silence of the night was shattered. Meghan didn't call 911 to report a missing husband. She didn't call security to report a kidnapping. Instead, she made one frantic call to a Toronto area code, Marcus Anderson. The intercepted transcript is a masterclass in panic. "He has the archive," Meghan allegedly whispered, pacing the darkened halls. "He knows about the yacht. He knows about the audition tapes." Marcus immediately flipped into damage control. "Track his phone," he ordered. "If he brings that drive to London, if he hands that to William, we are uninsurable. We are finished." But Harry had finally learned the tradecraft of the people he was living with. Police reports later confirmed a shattered iPhone 14 Pro was discovered on the side of the 101 freeway. Harry had tossed the tracking device at 60 miles per hour. He had gone dark. Realizing she couldn't track him, Meghan initiated a chilling plan B. At 5:45 a.m., a call was logged with the Santa Barbara sheriff and relayed to private medical contractors in the UK. The narrative was calculated. A high-profile male, aged 39, has fled in a manic state. He is off his meds. He is delusional. If located, detained for an immediate psychiatric hold. She wasn't just trying to stop him, she was trying to institutionalize him. She knew if Harry walked into Buckingham Palace with that blue drive, her reign was over. But if he was dragged away in a straitjacket, his truth would be dismissed as the ravings of a madman. But if he was intercepted by medics and dragged away in a straitjacket, anything he said about prosthetics or wiretaps would be dismissed as the ravings of a madman. The wheels of the Cessna screeched against the wet tarmac of Farnborough Airport. 11 a.m. London time, gray, cold, and drizzling. As the plane taxied toward a private hangar, Harry looked out the porthole, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He saw them. 3 black SUVs were parked near the jet bridge, but they weren't the Royal Protection Squad. They were private security contractors. Standing next to them were 2 paramedics and a man in a sharp suit holding a clipboard. Meghan's call had worked. "They're going to section me," Harry realized, gripping the blue drive so hard his knuckles turned white. The pilot opened the cabin door, letting in the damp English air. "Your Highness," the man in the suit called out, his voice chillingly calm. "Please come down slowly. We have a car ready to take you to a private clinic. Your wife is very worried." "I'm not going with you," Harry shouted from the top of the stairs. "I am not on medication." The man in the suit signaled the paramedics to move forward. "Sir, please, we have a hold order. Don't make this difficult." It was a trap. If he walked down those stairs, he would disappear forever. But just as the paramedics put their boots on the first step, a roar echoed across the airfield. From the service entrance, a convoy of 4 armored Range Rovers tore onto the tarmac, lights flashing blue and white. They didn't have private plates. They had crown plates. The vehicles boxed in the private security team, and 6 men stepped out holding submachine guns. At the center was a tall, broad-shouldered man in a trench coat, Ken Worf. the former personal protection officer to Princess Diana. A man Harry hadn't spoken to in years, but the only man he trusted enough to call from 30,000 feet. "Step away from the prince," Whorfie barked. The man with the clipboard stammered, "We have a medical order from the Duchess." "The Duchess has no jurisdiction here," Whorf interrupted, flashing a badge bearing the royal crest. "This is British soil. That man is the son of the king. He is under the protection of the crown." Whorf looked up at Harry. "Get in the car, sir. We're going to see your father." Harry sprinted down the stairs, dodging the stunned paramedics, and dived into the back of the lead Range Rover. The convoy tore through the streets of London, ignoring red lights, the sirens wailing as the gates of Clarence House swung open. King Charles was waiting. Sources inside the palace described the scene as biblical. The prodigal son returning, not with a plea for money, but with a confession of high treason. Harry was ushered into the morning room. Charles stood by the fireplace, looking frail but upright. Harry didn't bow. He walked straight to his father and placed the blue drive on the antique coffee table. "It wasn't the press," Harry said, his voice cracking. "It was her. The leaks, the book, the interviews, it was all scripted, and I have the script." A team of royal aides brought in a secure laptop. For the next 2 hours, the King of England listened. He heard Meghan recording him during private family dinners. He heard the Soho House strategy sessions where she and Marcus mocked the monarchy as a fading brand to be stripped for content. But the moment that broke the king was a video from September 2022, timestamped just 2 days before Queen Elizabeth died. The video showed Meghan in the Montecito kitchen, casually chopping vegetables while on a call with her PR team. "The old lady is fading," she said coldly. "When she goes, we need to launch the racism narrative immediately. Charles will be weak. We hit him while he's grieving. If we time the podcast right, we can delegitimize the coronation before he even puts the crown on." Charles turned away from the screen, shaking. This wasn't just a difficult daughter-in-law. This was a foreign operative who had infiltrated his family to dismantle the monarchy from within. "She wanted to destroy us," Charles whispered, the realization chilling his blood. "Not because she was hurt, but because it was a business plan. And I am coming to get them." Harry turns, the heavy oak doors slamming shut behind him with the finality of a gavel. The simulation has broken. As the screen fades to black, one final image from the leaked dossier flashes. A text message sent from Harry to Meghan seconds before he faced the world. 3 words that end an era of silence and begin an era of reckoning. Checkmate, H.